Good morning, everybody. Right, well, I think we might be on to... Is it the last chapter? Ooh, it is the last chapter of our story, George's Marvellous Medicine. It's quite a long chapter, so we'll see how we go. Right, it's called Goodbye, Grandma. There's still something you've left out, Mr. Cranky said. I can't think what it could be, George said. Give it up, Mrs. Cranky said. Pack it in. You'll never get it right. Mr. Cranky looked forlorn. That means sort of like sad and... George looked pretty fed up too. He was still kneeling on the ground with the spoon in one hand and the cup full of medicine in the other. The ridiculous tiny brown hen was walking slowly away. At that point, Grandma came striding into the yard. From her enormous height, I'm just going to show you the picture of her so that you can see how tall she is. She's bent over there as well. From her enormous height, she glared down at the three people below her and she shouted, "What's going on around here? Why hasn't anyone bought me my morning cup of tea? It's bad enough having to sleep in the yard with the rats and the mice, but I'll be blowed if I'm going to starve as well. No tea, no eggs and bacon, no buttered toast." "Oh, I'm sorry, Mother," Mrs. Cranky said. "We've been terribly busy. I'll get you something right away." "Let George get it, that lazy little boy," Grandma shouted. Just then the old woman spotted the cup in George's hand. She bent down and peered into it. She saw that it was full of brown liquid. It looked very much like tea. "Aha!" she cried. "Aha! So that's your little game, is it? You look after yourself, all right, don't you? You make quite sure you've got a nice cup of morning tea, but you didn't think to bring one to your poor old Grandma. I always knew you were horribly selfish." "No, Grandma," George said. "This isn't—" "Don't lie to me, boy," the enormous old woman shouted. "Pass it up here this minute." "No," cried Mrs. Cranky. "No, Mother, don't. That's not for you." "Now you're against me too," shouted Grandma. "My own daughter, trying to stop me having my breakfast, trying to starve me out." Mr. Cranky looked up at the horrible old woman and smiled sweetly. "Of course it's for you, Grandma," he said. "You take it and drink it while it's nice and hot." "Don't think I won't," Grandma said, bending down from her great height and reaching out a huge horny hand for the cup. "Hand it over, George." "No, no, Grandma," George cried out, pulling the cup away. "You mustn't. You're not to have it." "Give it to me now," yelled Grandma. "Don't," cried Mrs. Cranky. "That's George's "Everything's George's around here," shouted Grandma. "George this, George that. I'm fed up with it." There she is. Taking a sip. She snatched the cup out of little George's hand and carried it high up out of reach. "Drink it up, Grandma," Mr. Cranky said, grinning hugely. "A lovely cup of tea." "No!" the other two cried. "No, no, no!" But it was too late. The ancient beanpole had already put the cup to her lips, and in one gulp she had swallowed everything that was in it. Right, I'm going to stop there because there's only about half of it left and we can save that for tomorrow. What's going to happen to Grandma? We'll find out later. Take care, everybody. Bye.